And there we go. Welcome to a little bit early start. I jumped the start. I couldn't wait. I was a bit anxious about doing this still. But the good thing is, I have a very good friend of mine who knows a lot about chronic pain also. And I thought, I'm sure we are more than one that suffer from that. And to each is a very personal experience. But I thought we could just shoot the breeze and just talk about it and see what happens. So I'm going to invite my friend OhhellNo, and we'll see what we come up with. And this nice little thumbnail is her creation, so all credits go to her. But first, now let's introduce OhhellNo.
Hello, hello.
Hello and welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, this is a subject that I know quite a bit about since I suffer from it.
Yeah,
I
me
have
too.
been for the last year and a half now, suffering from chronic pain and what it does to your psyche and to your body. Um, it's a difficult thing.
Look,
Hello, Don Gloves.
welcome, Dawn.
Welcome, welcome. So, to tell you a little bit about me, I am a type 2 diabetic, and I suffer from. I had a back injury. My daughter's ex-husband decided one day to do basically a snatch and grab of his child. We had his child in our custody, and he came to visit and did a snatch and grab. And in the process, my daughter jumped into the back of his truck trying to prevent it. And as he was trying to get away, he basically hit me with the side of the truck, and I fell underneath, holding onto the edge of the bed of the truck, and managed to get myself out. But in that process, I wrenched my back pretty badly. At the time, we didn't think a whole lot of it. This has been, he's now 18 or 19, so it's been quite a while ago. Didn't think a whole lot about it, but I noticed initially that I had a lack of sensation across the top of my right thigh. And so I went to the chiropractor and I went to the doctor, all that stuff. And when I was doing the chiropractor stuff, it actually got worse. Like I had ended up, I mean, it felt like I had hot lava or hot water running down the front of my leg. Um, Jump start many years later, as I got older, it created an arthritic condition. I have an arthritis in my lower back. And as a result of that, between that and the neuropathy that I get from diabetes, it has created a chronic pain situation where literally my lower back hurts constantly. And most of the time, I have that same feeling on both of my legs of hot water being poured down my leg. And I can tell you over the last, it kept getting worse. And finally, over the last year and a half, let's see, I guess it started August last year where it got really bad. It has progressed to, I'm on a lot of medications for pain, and they're not the opioids, they're gabapentin, duloxetine, that type of stuff. But the pain, as you suffer from it, does so much to your body and to your mind. It is, when it's constant like this, it will cause you to try to make adjustments in your body that throw your entire body off. Not necessarily a balance, but when you're adjusting to, how do I make this not hurt so bad? So I'm going to move this way or move that way. You wrench your body in different ways, and it creates even more issues. Granted, there's things that you can do that supposedly help. I smoke, which is unfortunate, but supposedly if you stop smoking, it helps. There's, getting blood sugars under control. There's a lot of stuff, but the pain, it's always there, always. It never stops. But during the day when I'm awake and conscious, I can kind of put it in a box and set it to the side, and it doesn't bother me as much. But at night when I'm sleeping or trying to, I no longer, it doesn't stay in that box. It comes out and it says, "Hello, I'm going to make your night hell." And so as a result, you get, a couple hours here, a couple hours there, and then you have to kind of walk around and try to work through it and then lay down. So needless to say, the sleep pattern is completely destroyed.
Yes.
And as a result of that, I'm not as sharp as I think I would normally be if I was having a normal sleep pattern. But what it's done to me mentally is I would give everything I have and then some for one day of zero pain.
You and me both.
You
You and me
know,
both. Yes.
just one day, just a break. And you don't get it. I mean, it doesn't matter when you're talking about nerve pain. Now, there's different types of chronic pain, but
Yes.
nerve pain is probably the hardest to control because there's so little medications that work on nerve pain. I mean, just there's so few. Um, they tried me on Lyrica and I reacted to it, so I went back to gabapentin. Now Lyrica is supposed to work better, but I'm like I said, I'm on gabapentin. And I take the duloxetine, which is Cymbalta, which also has it's for trying to keep your mental status. A lot of times people who are depressed take it, but it has an added side effect of helping with nerve pain. So I'm on both medications, and like I said, I can control it kind of during the day. I take a ton of Advil, probably more than I should. I take it 4 at a time. I try to keep it once a day, but sometimes if it's bad, it's twice a day.
But
And
I kind of see it like when your nervous system senses you putting in the brake in park mode or the gear in park, then it's like, hello there, and it comes back with a vengeance because
yes,
you have been compartmentalizing it the whole day, and then it want to kind of get some revenge
yeah,
on you.
yeah. It's like having an enemy. Um, I'm sorry to hear that, Dawn.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah, I can as well. It's like having an enemy that lives in your house. That while you can keep that enemy at bay all day long, that enemy's going to take advantage of. I didn't put "Do Not Disturb," and that's my husband. So I'll send
No
my son to
problem.
go get him.
Yeah,
But anyway,
I like that
that.
song.
Yeah, he has his own
Yeah, well, that's a good
thing.
song. Yeah.
Give me just a second. Let me yell at Jack and have him
Okay.
calling.
So anyway, then I can talk a little bit while. In when describing my way of the whole thing, it was I've been bus driver in total for 34 years before I have to stop being that about roughly 2.5 years ago. But all in all, I've been driving bus, taxi, and what they call service when you drive disabled people, wheelchairs or walkers, whatever. Welcome, Sophia, too. You're
Welcome,
very
Sophia.
welcome. And well, I've used to be, you wouldn't think when you see me now, but I was much more athletic when I was younger. I played different sports. I wasn't no professional in the sense of the word, but I was very active, like table tennis, basketball, football with friends. That was more like on friendly base, but table tennis was my big thing, really. Then when I've and also about the upcoming. So I don't know if there was something we used to play when I was younger that is a bit Nordic. It's called floorball.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very fast and fun game really to play, and sometimes, well, you end up hurting yourself or
Mm-hmm.
falling. So, but also,
I'll be back at the yard in 45 minutes.
okay,
Okay.
good.
Okay. Well, that's a hard stop in 45 minutes is what that says. Are you going to go get him or do you want me to?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's getting pretty close to the time that I'm going to have to go up there anyways to start with.
Okay. All right.
So
Yeah, it looks like
anyway,
a 45
yeah,
minute hard stop.
I don't know
and
if you-
also then I do
Huh?
know that
Are you gonna come with me,
probably
Star Mark, or?
getting
Yeah, I
kicked
thought I
in the
was.
back as a
What?
I
kid
thought I
with
was. Okay.
clocks, whatever you call those wooden shoes, that doesn't really help your back either.
No. No.
So stuff like that. So I don't know how much has been latent and just waiting. And
Mhm.
then when I left Stockholm to move down here to start a family, really, I became less active, and by natural means, I mean, you
Mhm.
start to grow in other directions than up and down only.
Mhm.
So that overweight took its toll too on me,
Yes.
and
Weight will
as
do that.
and the very bad, what you call shock absorption in buses, especially as they have just air cushions as
Yeah.
absorbents. So that means it gets very bumpy, and with bad driver seats, especially when I started in the late 80s.
Mhm.
So it has been like grinding off on your back. So it came. I've had at least problems since, let's say, roughly at least, but 2008, something like that.
Mhm.
I know I had problems, and they just said that, yeah, you might have a disc that is what you call bulging,
Herniated, bulging
yeah,
disc. Yeah.
bulging disc. And I said, no, this is worse because it hurts much more.
Mhm.
But then in those Christmas holiday 2017, when I was on the way to my work, I slipped on some ice, and basically I did the classic movie character move, going everywhere same time and twisted everywhere you could just to not fall.
That'll do it.
And that then I felt a real snap in my back.
Oof.
But I still went to work, but I felt like I got more and more numb and started
Mhm.
to hurt.
Mhm.
So I asked to get released and to go back home and to get a sick doctor.
Mhm.
And well, they put me sick leave 2 weeks and said, yeah, yes, say bulging discs. But I
Mhm.
said, no, this is much worse. I have never had it like this.
Mhm.
Like my description would be like someone is running a uh, flaming hot knife along your nerve ends in along your leg, and
Mhm.
you have always this sensation of almost having cramp. You always feel like your toes are about to start to clench,
Mhm.
even that they don't. So you don't. It doesn't take much for you to feel that, and that also affects. It gets tiresome for you because it feels like you're on alert all the time.
Mhm. Mhm.
So anyway, so that also made it impossible for me to drive for a long while
Yeah.
because af I, I was so angry at the doctors. So finally, I had
Been there.
a break, and I had there was a temporary doctor, actually, not the ordinary one
Mhm.
that I had then, and he said, "Well, we could put you on line for a CAT scan to see if it's MRI to see
MRI.
if
Yeah.
yeah, to see if it's if there's something to it." So
Yeah.
I had to wait until April 2018, something like that,
Oof.
2017, 2018, something like that. And anyway, as soon as the results came in, they said I had two busted discs. They were not just they were broke. They were not
Ugh.
just busted. So they were really so they had so that was why the nerves were exposed and constantly grinding.
Uh-huh.
So they tried to offer me all kinds of medicines, and most of it was just painkillers. And to be honest, it felt more like they tried to just drug me down because
Mm-hmm.
you just get so tired from it that you don't do anything. And
Mm-hmm.
then I got also this different kind of physiotherapy. The best part was when I was water training, when I was in a pool
Mm-hmm.
doing exercises. But once
Mm-hmm.
you get out of it, you're really, really
Yeah.
bushed.
I know that currently I have a chiropractor, a pain management, and I'm in physical therapy, and we're talking about acupuncture on mine. But you looked out, you had a diagnosis. Did you ever have surgery or an ablation done?
There was talk about surgery, but I needed first to lose weight because I
Mm-hmm.
was really obese and overweight.
Mm-hmm.
So the doctor set up a weight target for me that I had to lose weight. Now we're
Mm-hmm.
talking in the metric system. I think I was about 150 kilos. That's something about roughly 300 pounds.
Yeah. Okay. That's
And
kind of
the target was about I had to get below 100 kilos.
mm-hmm.
So that's about 200 pounds,
200
something like.
pounds. Yeah. Something
Yeah,
close to that. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, you
So I,
fortunate. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, so I really fought, and it took me a year and a half to try
Mm-hmm.
to reach there or a bit more, because as you, I have diabetes type 2.
Mm-hmm.
I also have asthma, and I have, well, this chronic pain.
Mm-hmm.
That gets you tired, and some people smoke, some people drink
Right.
alcohol. My go-to was food or sugar,
Yeah.
and that's a real bugger to treat.
That's hard to break.
That's really hard
Um,
to treat.
Yeah, because I had an ablation in 2020, the end of 2020. And while that made me feel better for a short bit, I mean, I want to say a month or two,
Yeah.
when everything came back, it made it worse. And so they're talking now about possibly doing that again, and I'm like, oh God. But interestingly enough, when we did my MRI to find out what was going on, they saw the slight bit of arthritis. It's not that bad, but they the I have nothing that is impinging on any of the nerves that are creating this issue. So basically, they're kind of scratching their head and say we don't know what's causing this. And in talking to the chiropractor a couple of weeks ago, he said maybe it has something to do with neuropathy, because I do know I have it in my feet. My feet feel like I have cotton between my toes. So, but I thought that usually it was extremities, and that was sort of the discussion that we had. And he said, yeah, normally it's extremities. So I have to have that discussion with my pain management and my PCP. But Dawn, I did see your thing about the ibuprofen, and yes, I'm not as concerned about the amount I'm taking per day. It's about the length of time I am taking that amount, because we're talking. I've been taking that kind of medication, probably not 4 times a day, although occasionally that will happen. Um, but at least twice a day for the last year and a half. So that is
Yeah.
a long period of time
That's it.
for
Stress both the liver and the kidneys, really.
correct. And I'm already having some kidney issues. So, not bad kidney issues. I'm just throwing proteins in my urine, and not badly.
No, but
But
that's an indicator of
right,
it's not good for you anyway.
right, exactly. So, and you try to give me Tylenol, and you say this is going to make you feel better, and Tylenol just kind of goes, really? No, I don't think so. But yeah, so it's not, like I said, it's not the amount per day that concerns me. It is the length of time that I've done that. And so if I can manage to go a day without ibuprofen, I will. If I can keep it down to just one dose, I will do that. But if I have incredibly bad days, and I have those on occasion, I will. I know that I can take up to 4 doses. I just try not to. So that's kind of where I am on that. And thank you for that information. But yeah, and I was pretty aware of that because I mean I've been on Motrin, the 800 milligram Motrin capsules, the big horse pills, before when I injured my knee. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I call my paracetamol 1 grams for tea biscuits.
yeah. So, and I try to take it with food and all that stuff. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I try to do to
And
help mitigate I mean, you're not just talking kidney and liver issues. You're talking about the possibility of stomach ulcers, and there's a whole line of things
all the
that
way
fall in that.
from the esophagus, all the way down, all the way out, really, it's
Yeah,
affected. And
yeah,
same goes with the urinary tract, and everything
yeah,
is affected
yeah,
because you put strain on it.
yeah. And to be quite honest, the ibuprofen does not do much for the nerve pain.
No.
What it helps is I've also got some arthritis in my hips. And so when my hips are acting up, that's usually when I hit the ibuprofen because it does help the joint pain. But and when you add joint pain on top of nerve pain, you're in for a bad day.
I can relate to that. Yes, yes.
So that's kind of what it is. But the thing that when we talk about how it affects you mentally and emotionally, that's a different area. I mean, yeah, you're hurting all the time, and and the thing about it is people don't see an injury, so they don't understand. I mean, I'm in the middle of a fight right now with my pain management guy, but anyway, they don't understand that it's like an invisible disease or invisible
Yeah, because you don't have
disability.
your foot or arm in a cast, they think, oh,
Yeah,
it's
you're
like you should
fine.
have a meter here saying this is my pain meter. You see, it's
Yeah,
all the way down to the max. You
yeah.
see, I'm in severe pain. Can you accept it now?
And
So
when
I
you
mean,
and when you go in and you tell, and doctors are notorious for this, you go in and they've done the diagnostic stuff and they don't see any reason for it, and they're looking at you like, are you just trying to get drugs,
yeah,
or is this real? And they don't. I mean, last time I saw my pain management guy was in January, and I'm about to have another appointment with him, I think next week. That's 6 months down the road. Now, mind you, we went through a whole lot of stuff of almost texting each other, but he's not seeing what I'm dealing with. And I'll be real honest, the day I go in for him, I probably won't have slept because I'm going to give him full bore, no medication, and let him see what I'm like.
yeah.
Okay. Which is horrific for me.
I
But
mean, it will be taxing many days after also because
because you have to rebuild that up,
yeah,
right now, what happens is it starts to tinge a little bit, and I'll medicate, try to get ahead of it.
yeah.
But the mental and emotional strain that it puts, I mean, there are days especially days when it's really bad, or days or weeks, if I have a period of days where it's really bad, it's like I think about, am I going to be like this the rest of my life? How is this worth living like this?
Yeah, it really affects the quality of life. But I think also many people don't realize what the struggle behind keeping the head up.
Yeah.
Because if you want to dive down to that quagmire of misery, it's very easy. But
Yes,
and
it
then
is.
there are people who has never had anything even similar can't relate to this. That's the
No.
problem because
Mm-mm.
I don't either you or I wish this kind of life
On
or this kind
anyone.
of on pain anyone. Yeah, I mean,
On anyone.
as you said, the best gift I could get is one pain-free day so I could fall asleep one night and wake up
Sleep
the next
8 hours
day. Yeah, sleep 8 hours, wake up the next day.
and
Not
feel good.
I feel good. I just go out for a long walk. I feel
Yeah.
fine. Come home and then enjoy something to eat, and then just feel fine. I mean,
I'm so bad I
it's that
can't
much
even
to
walk
ask.
my dog. I can't walk my dogs.
Yeah, and same thing is
That's
this thing. I mean, I have had problems earlier with my mental health. I mean, that's nothing to hide. I mean,
no.
I got depressed
Yeah.
at the turn of the millennium because bad marriage, bad relations,
Hmm. Everything
loss,
hit at once.
loss of relatives. It was like a avalanche of bad things hitting you at
Right.
the same time,
Hmm.
and at the same time trying to be every second weekend father,
Hmm.
work a lot because you couldn't live on the student loan alone,
Hmm.
and study full time. I was burning the candle in both ends. It was impossible in the
Hmm.
long run.
And then
Uh,
dealing with the pain involved.
yeah,
Yeah, it's almost like if you have chronic pain, it's almost like that's all you can deal with. That's all you can keep your mind on. That's all you, because you're trying to control it, trying to keep it enough so that it's livable.
yeah.
It's
To me,
not
it
gone.
feels the description you gave earlier. For me, it feels like basically it's like you're walking towards a stair, and you know there is this evil entity just waiting to push you down these stairs.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
you can almost feel that hand. It's not touching you, but it's like this close, you know.
Hmm.
So let's see. There we have.
Yeah.
So it's like when you feel this presence almost, but not completely.
Yeah. It's always there,
Yeah,
always. And you never know when it's going to reach out and grab you.
yeah, or push
And
you.
yeah, and trying to keep upbeat and trying to live a good life with that entity, breathing down your neck is next to
That
impossible.
it is
You
a
know.
challenge, but the thing is, what amazes me most in middle of all this. Now we are not trying to bring anyone down, but we tell things as it is,
Hmm.
but still the amount of resilience you find in yourself
Yes.
during all this is amazing. I mean,
Hmm.
instead of just wanting to lay down, of course, there are days when I can't do anything else but lay down because it
I
hurts.
can't cook dinner. I can't
Yeah,
do any of that stuff. I can't take care of my family.
yeah, and I'm
Um,
like me, I'm on my own. So if I don't do it, who will do it? No one.
right. Right.
So
It is a specter that lives in your life, and
oh yeah,
it depends on how you handle it. I mean, I try to be upbeat as best I can, and you'll notice I move around a lot. That's just me repositioning because it
the
hurts.
same for me. I mean, people might think I have the jitters or something, but that's because I have to adjust because
Because it hurts.
it hurts, and I'm not doing it to throw people off or to confuse them. But what can I do? It's not like I'm restless. It's because
Yeah.
I try to. I can't sit still too much either. So that's the
Mm-mm.
way it is. So,
You know,
people, you
and
have to take us. You have to take us at face
yeah,
value.
and when you can't sit, you can't stand, you can't lay down, you can't walk. There's so many things that the pain prevents you from doing for any length of time. I mean, physical therapy asks me about once every 6 to 8 weeks, can you walk a mile? Can you walk a half mile? Can you walk a quarter mile? I'm lucky if I can walk from my desk chair to the bathroom, without being in pain.
Sometimes I ignore the pain, and I know
Just
I'll
go
have to
through it.
pay, and I have to pay for it because sometimes it's like you're taking a steel bath. Either you have to or not, because there's no
Hmm.
one else who's gonna do this, and you have to get these things done.
Yeah,
Luckily for me, these later years has been better for me. The pain has lessened a little bit, so
mine's gotten
maybe
worse.
there has been some more scar tissue on those nerve ends. So that
Maybe
means as long as I don't bust the
another
back,
one.
yeah, or something like. But still, there are days when, I mean, I don't need a weather report. I can almost just the
Yes. Oh
I
my
can
God,
read
yes.
the weather just by the
What
pain in my
hurts?
body. Yeah,
Yeah, I have the same thing when the pressure changes. It's a bad day.
yeah.
Between the knee replacement and the other knee that's not 100%, and the back pain and the nerve pain, that's a miserable day.
Or when you
And
feel like thunder is coming, I mean, you feel tense in the neck and you feel like you'll start to get this migraine feeling across your head.
yeah, see, I do have migraines on occasion, but it's due to a head injury that I had when my husband and I were in the truck, and I
Yeah.
think being in the truck may have irritated this more because that's when I started really noticing some pain, but it wasn't bad enough that I couldn't work, and I can't work, I can't stand long enough, I can't sit long enough. I mean, without moving around. Um, to hold down a job even at home. And you worry about getting those jobs online that are at home. You work from home, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, what kind of scam is this? How much money am I have to pay you and then never get anything out of it? So
And also, I mean, basically, people don't get it how much uh, and how many people really are, in a sense, worn out by the society and this
mm-hmm,
stressed way of life we have.
mm-hmm,
So I mean, and also one, I have to be a little bit political in a sense.
mm-hmm.
With just adjust my seat. As
Yeah, I'm with you. I just did too.
yeah, uh, the way I see it, many times I think governments ignore on purpose the stress that people feel, the mental stress, depressions,
I
and
think so
all
too.
kind of illnesses, but also those people that are worn out, basically, or
Mm-hmm,
damaged by too hard work or hard labor.
mm-hmm.
Because if they have to acknowledge it, that means also they have to do something about it,
About
take
it,
some
right?
kind of responsibility and offer help.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as some people just are interested of hoarding money and things to themselves, I mean, today is
Yeah.
like 0.5% of the world owns like 80% of the world. It's not.
Mm-hmm. It's a difficult
It's
time, yeah.
just yeah.
But
So
and people, I mean, between trying to get doctors to believe you that you're in that much pain, you walk in and what's your pain scale? Well, on medication I'm a 4, but if I wasn't on medication I'd be a 8. you know um
and how
this
do you
morning
define
when
a
I woke
10
up,
really? I mean,
yeah, the
you could
worst
have a
pain you've
10.
ever felt, the worst pain you've ever felt. Well, I had an endometrial biopsy, and I would put that as the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. you
Yeah.
know but I mean, that was horrific. But, you know, so I have to kind of judge it against that. And it's not as painful as that, but it's more long term. You know, that the worst pain I've ever felt was for, I don't know, a minute or two.
Yeah,
This
the
pain is,
intensity is one thing, but that
yes.
because it's
How
like
do
a little
you,
bit like earthquakes and stuff. I mean,
mhm,
a vibration can be low frequent,
mhm,
but it's the power inside it. I mean,
mhm,
if you break a bone, if someone hits you,
mhm,
it's a more it's like
intense.
intense shock impact.
Mhm,
But when you have this droning
mhm.
constant, it's like someone is leaning on your doorbell with your thumb and not giving.
Yeah, it's
Get,
buzzing forever.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And that's, if you're talking about how do you rate pain, they're looking at intensity at that time. And like I said, intensity, it's okay. I mean, but it's over the period of time that makes it worse. So I can sit here and say, okay, my pain might be at a 3 right now in intensity, But if you ask me, what's the worst pain you've ever had in your life, taking into account the period of time, this is it.
Yeah.
This is a
So,
10.
so I think also, I don't know what you think, but I also want to ask those watching this, either if you watch now or later, please
Mhm.
add a comment to it. But
Yeah.
I state this, and I want to know what you think.
Okay.
Today's medical science, or doctors mostly, deal with the symptoms, not
Hmm.
the causes. They just want to make it's like quick
Yeah.
fixes. It's like
There's a lot of that. Yeah.
they just throw in a patch for the moment. They don't make sure, because, as someone said, a cured patient is a lost customer.
Yeah.
So in one sense,
There's a lot to that. I think that's part of the diabetes issue. Let's, the
yeah,
type 2 diabetes is, let's throw more medication at it. I have a real hard time with that. But and yeah, okay, so it's necessary at that time, but you know, there's things that make me wonder. We're going into a different tangent here, but things that make me wonder that, I'm insulin resistant. That's what it is I still produce insulin, but
mm,
my body's resistant to it. That's the whole thing about type 2 diabetes. So if
yeah,
I'm pumping more insulin in, wouldn't my body get even more resistant? That's where I wonder, so can we get down to the base cause of this, which obviously is exactly, the pain scale is more about how you're tolerating the pain.
exactly. I wanted to share with you.
And yeah, I saw that, and I was going to comment on that actually,
Yeah,
and so if we're talking about chronic pain, if we're masking what's going on instead of finding out why it's going on, um does that not make it get worse, because you're not dealing with the cause, you're treating the effect? And
I mean the same if you would do triage with small pieces of cotton instead of putting on a real
band-aid, bandage.
band-aid.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah, I
sometimes you
mean,
wonder how serious they are about helping patients, and what's the real motivation. Is it just to earn money on them, or
I think there's a maybe a little bit to that, especially in these corporate hospitals, the PPOs and all of that stuff. And you have two different entities fighting against each other. You have the doctors who say this is what you need, and you have the insurance company saying this is what I'll pay for, and never the two don't ever meet. It's like, well, you can't have this medication because I want you to have this medication instead. Well, the doctor said this medication, and there's a reason the doctor said this medication. Well, no, we're not going to give you that. We're going to give you this. Well, this is what we'll approve. If you don't like that, then you can go pay for it yourself. So there's that. They're literally fighting each other, and really and truly, insurance is the biggest legalized gambling ring in the world, because if you think about it, they're betting that you're not going to get sick or injured or whatever. That's what they're betting on. You're betting on that you will. So that's it's literally gambling on both ends.
well,
And
but I think also they play with weighted dice, because
oh yeah,
they have so
definitely.
many clauses and so many outs.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
basically, the only time you can get a good insurance is when you're newly born, but before that, tested you if you have any hereditary
If you have anything that
diseases.
happens, yeah,
Yeah.
anything that happens, and then it becomes an issue. Now, granted, we get our insurance offered through my husband's work.
Mm.
An arguing pain scale, that's a memory of a lot of doctors. Yes. And, the thing about it is, and this is what I look at a lot of times with the doctors, especially if you're going long term, is, we're talking about this issue lasting years and years and years, okay? Is eventually, I think the doctors get tired of hearing from you,
Yeah.
okay? And they start to not consider the fact that this is an actual problem. And the problem is you don't have, I mean, you, like I said, have a diagnosis. I don't.
Yeah.
And in my case, it's there, it's real. What can we do? We can't find a reason. What can we do? Well, okay, we'll just throw I'm tired of hearing from you. Just go away.
Yeah.
Um,
But then again, it depends much of empathy also, because
mm-hmm,
sometimes if a doctor has personal experience
mm-hmm,
or someone loved one or some relative to them pretty close to them,
mm-hmm.
so they can relate to this, that will
Right.
also affect on how they treat the patients. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
those fresh doctors just out of school are the worst many times, because they don't know anything about life. I mean, to become a
Yeah.
doctor, you have to be so focused on studying and stuff and stuff and stuff. And I'm not like putting them down, but that means simply that you need some kind of life experience to
Yeah.
add to this, to be able to relate to some patients,
Yeah.
especially when it's, as you say, in the more invisible or more inner, under the skin kind of diseases.
Right. Right. Anyway, I'm hitting my hard stop.
Yeah.
So uh, I
I'll,
enjoyed having this discussion. I think it's one that we can have again.
yes.
And having people who us other people, I know Sophia suffers from some of it. We've
Yeah.
talked. Some other people there's a lot of people in this community who do suffer from chronic pain. So not even, and it's not always physical pain, it's mental pain.
Yes.
And
So
so
there's more to say about this, because I
yes,
feel
a
we have
lot.
only been, how could we put it? We have only been scratching the surface, really.
Yes, yes.
I'm just before we go anywhere, I'm just going to look up your link, because I want to
Oh,
plug for your
hell no.
channel too.
Yeah, I don't have it up at the moment. Hang on.
Yeah, I'll pick it. I'll
Okay.
bring it up. I know where I have
Yeah.
it. Yes.
Thank you. But yeah, I mean, please in the comments, guys, let us know what your experiences are,
Yeah.
and how you've handled this, because people handle these things differently many times, and some people have a great deal of success and some people don't. And so any ideas are always in this situation, when you're talking about pain that goes on and on and on. I'm open to ideas on how to make it more livable. You know, um, the ideas of stopping the pain, the ideas of making it further back, but allowing me to sleep, for God's sakes.
To feel like a ordinary human, and
Yes.
also I think to get rid of this stigma that I feel sometimes when people just look at you like you're pretending or you're just
Yes.
lazy. Why are you so tired? I mean, even if
And
I
even
would sleep,
doctors do it. Even
yeah, and
doctors do it.
even if I would sleep a whole night, that doesn't
Mhm.
mean I have slept. That may be, yes, I have basically passed out from the pain and basically been unconscious from the pain. That it's no sleep. That's
There,
more of a form of unconsciousness.
yes, there are times when I have to push myself to exhaustion to get. I mean, I will stay up. I will sleep like 2 hours, and then I'll get up, because I've had to get up and walk around, and then I'm awake. You know, um, and then all I'll get is 2 hours here and 2 hours there for a week at a time. And by the end of that week, I am exhausted, and it's literally, I am out. You can't. I mean, my husband tries to wake me for dinner, and nothing.
Yeah,
I
because
am done.
you're basically out of gas.
Yeah.
One question about that.
Mm,
Many times when I feel really painful or trying to sleep, I
mhm.
have this thick, big pillow that I have to squeeze between my knees because it hurts so fucking bad. Sorry for my French,
You're
but
fine.
we're not monetized yet. But
I have a pregnancy pillow. It's a big U-shaped
yeah, I
pillow.
had one of those too sometimes to help.
Yeah. And basically what I do, because I'm a stomach sleeper, so I think I twist a little bit when I sleep. So what I do with that is it forces me not to sleep on my stomach. It forces me to sleep either on my side or my back. You know?
Yeah,
And so that has helped. It helped for a little bit, and then it just got worse. You know?
yeah,
So
that's the problem.
yeah.
Well, I think we have kind of started to scratch on the surface
Yeah.
because I feel like there are so many tangents, there are so many things to talk about this
Mm-hmm.
really. So
Yeah.
I think we
Yeah. I
should
think so
return to
too.
this. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Next turn will be on your channel, I think.
Alrighty, we can do that.
Yeah,
I
but
am game for that. Basically, what's happening, guys, is that DJ and I are discussing. The reason why we're doing this. I'm not streaming on my channel currently because of the monetization thing. We would need to build up enough of our own content so that when we do multiple streams, that it's not hit by YouTube. So
yeah, I mean,
what we're
if
doing is doing back and forth.
yeah, we have to first have our own portfolio, so to say.
Right.
So if we do something co-ops with some other, it shouldn't be like the majority of what you do is
Right.
and so you can also select what parts are with others. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
also this is a way to help each other to grow in
Mm-hmm.
a sense. I mean, and if you want to get hold of me, the email info is in the description of my page. And if you
Yeah.
like this and it felt like it gave you something, please consider the like and subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
And also do have a look at her OhhellNo's page because she has lots of common sense to offer you.
Yeah.
And
I have.
I'm really grateful of.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm pure SPTV, but I feel I'm SPTV affiliated because
Mm-hmm.
we try to also take care of the people in
Right.
the movement, not just the main target. We also have to be like the support troops about those in it.
Yeah. So.
So big
I
thanks to
just.
everyone, and thank you for your time
Yes.
also.
Thank you. No
And I
problem.
hope to catch you soon again.
Again, yes. It'll be a whole lot of fun. Y'all don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will visit this again, and maybe have some of you on if you would like to give us your perspective of how you're dealing with your chronic pain.
Yeah.
Anyway, y'all have a
Either
blessed
we,
day.
yeah, either we will invite you to the channel, or if you want us to read this portions from an email, which way ever you feel most comfortable, because this stuff takes time to get used to, as you know.
Right.
But as is, have a as pain-free day as possible and sleep as good as possibly you can, my friend.
Y'all have a blessed evening or blessed day wherever you're at.
Yes. And thank you for being with
Thank you for
us.
showing up. Yes. Thank you.
Bye-bye.